And I feel so disturbed when my flowers wither. It is necessary to put some effort to see that there is some methodology through which we can process flower.
Hello and welcome to pmcenglish. You're watching Success Stories. I'm Idris, and with me today is a very special guest. She has been a professor in one of the finest universities in Telangana, and she has also done a great research in preserving flowers. She is the founder of Lyo Florals, and she also manages this business on her own with a very limited staff. And the job she is doing is amazing, as you have already seen the processing and the designing of this particular process, and the way she creates the beautiful artwork is really amazing. A very warm welcome to our show, Dr. Mahalakshmi V Reddy.
Namaste.
Namaste. So the very first thing, why did you choose such a different concept, preserving flowers?
It's been my hobby from my childhood. As a child, I had a wonderful garden, cared my mother, and I was so much involved in being part of the nature. So that flower in my interior was adding such a charm, and I had continued my higher education also in the field of interior design, where I could bring in the flower as a part of my interiors. So I started exploring more and more of flower preservation, and I realized that flowers, in spite of all that I do, flowers wither. And I feel so disturbed when my flowers wither, especially mother had taken so much of care to grow flower, but when it comes to use, it starts withering. So I feel it is necessary to put some effort to see that there is some methodology through which we can process flower. And that added to my surprise when I saw in one of the exhibition in Hyderabad, there was a company from Thailand came forward to put up their flowers in the expo. So at that time I happened to see the flowers, which were very unique, and they were all mounted in a glass cases, and they were costing very high. And to a common man it was beyond imagination, and to the affordables also it was on a higher side. So that made me to feel why these flowers, natural looking flowers, are costing so high. Then I had to explore that, and I found that it was the preserved flowers, and that will live forever. So that gave me an inspiration that I should explore more of it and then work. And then I realized that there is a need for me to invest some money and buy that. So at that time I was not a very big officer, I was a small officer, and my earning was almost comparable to the flower that was being sold. I didn't mind to buy that, and I purchased it, and I had been having that on my table for more than 12 hours, and I enjoyed the beauty of it almost every day. Then when there was an occasion for me to explore more into the details through a research, and then I realized that I should work on this area to find out whether I can move little forward. That's how I moved forward. So now I have a flower which is everlasting, the one that lives for a very long life, provided we take care of it from the extreme conditions of heat and humid conditions. If we can take care, it's really wonderful to have the flowers that are preserved through the process. I'll show you something. Here is the natural flower, which I feel that it looks so beautiful. However, you see the quality of the flowers. This is just 4 days old, and still flower starts withering, and I'm sure in another day or two all the flowers will wither, and the beauty of buying this and enjoying it starts withering, and the emotions that with which we want to enjoy slithers also. So I feel that there is something more we have to do about flowers, because everybody buys flowers, everybody loves flowers, but these flowers, when they give it as a gift to someone, it's something that they cannot hold it for long. And of late I realize that a lot of people are showing a lot of emotions to flower. So for them it is a doom, they cannot enjoy. So for them, I really felt that my kind of research is a great asset to the society, and where people can gift their flowers which will be everlasting when it is given to as a memory. In fact, I call it as a fragrance, the fragrance of memory.
You put it in the right way, the fragrance of memory. Now, like since you said you have done a lot of research and you've been a professor in one of the finest Telangana Agricultural University, like have you studied this floriculture or what was your specialization when we talk about your academics?
I'm basically a interior designer in my graduation, and later when I went into for higher education in Hyderabad or in Chennai, where I had my education, we did not have post graduation in interior design those days. That was in 77, 79. So at that time I realized that something related to this subject was something in home science. So I moved into the home science area where I could specialize more into the housing and then interior design. So that's how I moved into the environment of handling flowers in the interior. I'm not basically an agriculture scientist nor a botanist, nor this is simply my interest that made me to focus more on this research and then come out with this technology. It was challenge to me. I need to understand so much of intricacy about the botany, flower preservation, and then the flowers that are available in our country. Some are seasonal flowers, some are exotic flowers, and some are flowers imported from elsewhere, so that still we are able to, like for example, orchids from Thailand is supposed to be one of the lovely one. So if we can afford to have that for our interior decoration, it's something really holds the attention of many people. So for them, if we can give the preserved flowers, it will always make them very, very happy about it. So that's the reason I moved into the area of flower preservation. It's purely my intensive research for about 12 years of study, and then 8 years of study come lab research that made me to go into the detail and evolve the procedure for preserving the flowers. To add to this, I was also exposed to one of a short training in abroad with a flower preservationist. It was just a 2 days exposure training, but I was able to get into the details of how they take up the flower preservation, how they are handling the flowers. Then I also found that in the Western country, out of the flowers that are grown, almost 50% of it goes for preservation, and to that extent the technology has been advanced and people are appreciating the flowers. But because in our country we don't have the preservation technology, people just, I feel so sad when I go to the flower market to purchase. There are so many flowers which are just thrown because people are not willing to take it. There are no buyers except during wedding seasons and then some festivals. People just throng to the market, but later it's just a throwaway price through which the floriculturists have to drop it in the market, and sometimes it goes into the waste yard also. So that is how the flowers are taken care in our country. So there is a need to explore more on this. So that's how I had explored on this technology.
That was really wonderful to know about, how you started your research, how you started thinking about flowers, and the way you explained how we treat flowers in India. Now, talking about the technology, I see, a lot of scope in India definitely. And as of now, could you please give a brief about where all, apart from your, lab, is there any other lab in India they preserve flowers like this?
To my knowledge, nobody has worked on this preservation of flowers. In fact, a literature search gave me a very pathetic condition that there is not much of research. Of course, there are other simple technologies. There are quite a few simple technologies through which we can protect the flowers, but they will not be preserved for a long duration. The life is maybe around 6 months to 1 year at the most. To that extent, we have technology. But there are some emotional flowers, sentimental flowers, which requires lifelong preservation. And also when you give a flower for gifting, for them it's a treasure, so they may keep it for quite a number of years. So in such case it is necessary that we should be able to give them a longer this one. So I had worked so much in depth to explore this. Lyophilization is one of the unique way of preserving the flowers, which I got to know only through literature, and then I started probing more into the details of what is lyophilization, how the equipment works, and whether we have equipment in our country. You know, lot amount of literature search went on. To my surprise, we do not have any such literature nor equipment in our country. So at that stage, when my research interest focused more onto this area for probing, then I realized that I should make somebody else to work with me. So I had depended on one of the company in Chennai to help me out with the equipment, because we never had equipment. Initially I started with a table model, like a pharma company small wheel kind of thing. You know, that doesn't work at all for the flowers. So but I was able to start with my instrument, and I realized that it was possible to preserve color. Then I realized that with only color it doesn't work at all. There are so many other characters in the flower which needs to be preserved. So unless I have a better equipment, it doesn't work. So I had got a floral preservation equipment at Chennai, and there was a team of experts who had helped me to have the design, which is the first of its kind in India. Right. So I started with my instrument. I realized at the end of this one, I realized that was too cumbersome, because everything was individual part. Like a compressor was separate, and then a vacuum pump was separate, and then only the storage container, that loading that was, like that the whole space was getting occupied. So I always felt that though my results came out very well, but I always felt that equipment also should be more compact.
First you did the research how to preserve the flowers. Then you came to a conclusion that this machine can do it, but you wanted a better machine.
No. Initially I had a small machine. Right. Later I got a big machine done which can preserve about 350 flowers. Right. But later, at the end of my research, when all my success was proved out, then I realized that such a space is unnecessary. If we can have a compact design, it is good. Right. So then my mind started working little more in detail how we can make this one. So I had to depend upon the company from Hyderabad. Lyophilization system is the one who is making the lyophilizer for different other applications, supplying machinery to all over the world. So when I approached them, they were able to do a prototype model, taking all my considerations into requirements into consideration. They evolved a very compact model, which I am using it as my laboratory. Yes, the one I showed you in the yes. So I feel so compact. Everything is part and parcel of that small little space. I can manage everything in it. So it's a contention.
Do not forget to
like, share and subscribe.
And yes, do visit our website www.pmcenglish.com.